All right, so today we're going to really get into some user-generated content,
Okay.
or UGC for those of you in the know.
Yeah.
And we're talking about how it's changing the game for technical writers.
You got it.
And to help us with this, we're going to be looking at some insights from Curt Robbins.
Oh, yeah.
Now, Curt Robbins, he's a senior technical writer. He's worked with some really big names,
Huge.
like FedEx, Microsoft, Wells Fargo.
Yeah, he's got a pretty impressive resume.
He does. He really does.
And he wrote this article about how user-generated content, it's not just about cat videos anymore.
Right.
It's really impacting technical fields, too.
Yeah, and he actually defines user-generated content, UGC, as anything created by users, not professionals or organizations.
It's really about that authentic user voice. Right?
Absolutely. So think like forum posts,
Yeah.
online reviews.
Those community-written guides you find online.
Those are the best.
Lifesavers.
They really are.
And we can't forget about the platforms,
Oh,
right?
yeah. Oh, right.
Like
Wow.
GitHub.
Oh, yeah. Confluence, Stack Overflow.
I mean, these are like the virtual town squares for technical knowledge.
They really are.
And that's where things get interesting for technical writers.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
This whole shift, right,
Yeah.
towards community-driven knowledge, it's changing how we even think about documentation.
So it's not just like slapping some words on a page anymore.
No, it's much more dynamic now.
So how is this revolution actually like happening in the real world? Like how's it playing out?
Well, one of the biggest shifts is towards collaboration
Okay.
and community engagement. So imagine you're working on like an open source project on GitHub.
Yeah.
Users, they're not just reading the documentation.
Right.
They're contributing to the code.
Wow.
They're spotting errors.
Oh.
They're even writing entire sections of the documentation themselves.
So it's like this built-in team of like volunteer editors?
Exactly.
That's pretty amazing.
It is.
So the technical writers are not like the sole source of truth anymore.
Not at all.
They become more like facilitators or curators.
Yeah, they're ensuring quality and consistency across a much wider pool of contributors.
So it's still important to have that technical writer role.
Absolutely. You need that guiding hand.
Okay.
Make sure everything's coherent and accurate.
Okay, that makes sense.
And this approach brings a whole new level of relevance to technical documentation.
Oh, how so?
Well, because it's directly informed by real-world use cases.
Oh, I see. So you're not just guessing what your audience needs anymore.
No, you're getting it straight from the source.
That's smart.
It is.
And I bet that constant feedback from users also allows technical writers to be much more like agile and responsive.
Absolutely. They can adapt to changing needs and address issues in real time.
That's got to be really helpful.
Oh, it is.
So we're getting all these different perspectives from the users.
Exactly. And that's what makes it so powerful.
Right. You have users from all walks of life.
Different industries, different levels of technical expertise, all chiming in.
And that diversity, it just makes the documentation richer.
And more relevant to a wider audience.
Robbins actually gave a really cool example in his article.
Oh, yeah. What was that?
He talked about like a developer who contributes this really technical API integration guide.
Okay. Yeah. Makes sense.
And then you have someone else, maybe who isn't a developer, documenting like those really quirky, uncommon scenarios that they encountered.
Right. It's about filling in the gaps that a traditional writing team might miss.
Exactly. It's amazing.
It is. It's like a collective brainstorming session, but online and ongoing.
That's a great way to put it.
And all of this comes with its own set of advantages, of course.
Yeah, let's talk about those advantages.
Okay, well, from a practical standpoint, think of it this way. You, the technical writer,
Okay.
you're now equipped with all this user-generated content.
Right.
This can seriously reduce the burden on your internal teams,
Makes sense.
saving time and resources.
It's like crowdsourcing your documentation efforts.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
It is, and it allows you to focus on other important tasks.
So it's not just about making the documentation better.
Right.
It's also about making the lives of technical writers easier.
Absolutely. And then there's the continuous improvement aspect.
Oh, right. Tell me more about that.
With UGC, your documentation isn't static.
Okay.
It's constantly being updated and refined.
So it's always current.
Exactly. Always in line with user needs.
That's really cool. And it also enhances user engagement too, right?
Oh, absolutely, because it gives users a sense of ownership.
I can see that. They're not just reading it, they're contributing to it.
Exactly. They become active participants.
And that can lead to increased loyalty and advocacy for the product or service.
It can. It's a powerful dynamic.
It sounds like it.
But with all these positives, it's like anything. It
Yeah.
needs to be handled carefully.
What are some of the downsides, the challenges that come with using user-generated content?
Well, one of the big ones is quality control.
Right, because you can't just accept everything that comes in.
Exactly. You need a system for vetting the information,
Yes.
fact-checking,
Hmm.
making sure it aligns with your style and tone.
So it's more about curating
Right.
than just aggregating the content.
You got it.
Okay, that makes sense.
And then there's the potential for content overload.
Oh, yeah.
You've got this constant influx of information.
Right, it could easily become overwhelming.
It can. You need a way to manage it all.
Okay,
Organize it effectively, make sure it's searchable and accessible.
so organization is key.
It is.
And then there's also the question of like how you balance this user-generated content
Right.
with the official documentation.
That's an important one. You don't want to lose that sense of authority.
Right, so how do you strike that balance?
It's about setting clear guidelines
Okay.
and having a transparent moderation process.
So users understand what's expected of them.
Exactly, and how their contributions will be used.
You want to find that sweet spot where it complements the official documentation.
Yes, without undermining its credibility.
Okay, you mentioned moderation.
Yes.
What would a good moderation system look like in practice?
Well, it starts with clear guidelines
Okay.
and a structured review process.
Sure.
Think about things like peer reviews,
Okay.
where experienced users vet the incoming content,
Right.
or editor approvals, where a dedicated team has the final say.
So it's like adding checks and balances
Exactly.
to ensure that you're only getting that high quality, accurate information.
Absolutely.
That makes a lot of sense.
It does.
So technical writers are becoming more than just writers.
Right.
They're editors, community managers.
They're like the conductors of an orchestra.
Oh, I like that analogy.
It is, isn't it?
Making sure all the different instruments are playing together in harmony.
Exactly. A symphony of voices.
I love it.
It's about orchestrating all of that.
And of course, technology plays a role in all of this too.
Oh, a huge role.
Like, I imagine the right tools can make a huge difference.
Absolutely. Wikis,
Yeah.
version control systems, content management platforms.
Yeah.
They're essential for managing this whole ecosystem.
To keep everything organized.
And transparent features like
Yeah.
change tracking, version history, commenting.
Right, it keeps everybody on the same page.
Exactly. And then beyond the tools,
Yeah.
it really comes down to engaging the community.
Right. Like, you have to actively encourage participation.
You got it.
Recognize those contributors.
Offer incentives.
Yeah, make them feel like they're part of something.
Exactly. Build excitement, create a sense of belonging,
So they feel empowered to share their expertise.
and help shape the future of the product or service.
So UGC is more than just a trend, it's a fundamental shift.
It really is.
And it's only going to get bigger.
I think so.
What do you think the future holds for UGC in technical writing?
Oh, it's exciting.
Yeah.
We're already seeing AI and machine learning being used
Wow.
to automate content moderation. Imagine a system
Yeah.
that can automatically flag inappropriate content,
Oh,
identify duplicates,
right.
and even suggest improvements based on user feedback.
That would be amazing.
It would free up human moderators
Right.
to focus on more complex tasks
Yeah.
and ensure even greater consistency and quality.
So it's not replacing humans, it's augmenting their abilities.
Exactly.
That's really cool.
It is.
And what about personalized content recommendations? Could AI help with that too?
Absolutely. It could analyze user behavior,
Okay.
suggest relevant articles, guides, discussions
Wow.
based on their individual needs. And it's changing the role of the technical writer, too.
Oh, what do you mean by that?
I think technical writers are going to evolve
Okay.
into facilitators,
Oh, yeah.
curators,
Mhm.
community managers.
So they're managing the community.
They're going to be the architects of these collaborative knowledge ecosystems,
That's pretty awesome.
orchestrating the collective intelligence of their user base.
So what are some key takeaways for our listeners?
I think the biggest one is that UGC isn't a threat.
Okay.
It's an opportunity
An opportunity for what?
to create more relevant, more engaging, more effective documentation
Okay.
by tapping into that collective wisdom.
Of the user base.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a chance to build a truly collaborative knowledge ecosystem
Okay.
and really elevate your role as a technical communicator.
So don't be afraid of it. So any final thoughts for our listeners before we wrap up?
I think, as technology continues to evolve, we're going to see even more innovative ways to leverage UGC.
That's exciting.
It is AI, machine learning, natural language processing.
Yeah.
These tools have the potential to revolutionize how we create and consume technical information.
That's amazing.
It is, so I encourage everyone.
Yeah?
Stay curious, experiment with new approaches,
Okay.
and embrace the possibilities that UGC offers.
I love that. Stay curious, experiment, embrace the possibilities.
It's an invitation to reimagine what technical writing can be.
So to wrap things up, here's a little food for thought for all of you listening.
Okay.
What if you could tap into the collective knowledge of your users to build truly exceptional documentation? So on that note, a huge thank you to Curt Robbins for his insightful article,
Absolutely.
and to all of you listening out there.
Keep those knowledge fires burning.
Keep exploring, keep learning.
And keep diving deep.
Until next time.
See ya.